Minister, I particularly want to focus in talking about the region that I come from, in County Leitrim and generally Western rural Ireland, and the difficulties that exist there. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think of that is the people coming into my constituency office and the problems that they come with. And the first problem that they come with for the vast majority is basically around health issues. Especially around the fact that the hospitals are overcrowded, that they can't get beds, that they can't get services when they want them, the huge long waiting list that we've got, and you know the issues in Sligo Regional Hospital is an example of that. And much of this is down to years and years of underinvestment. And while I appreciate that there was something in the budget for some of that, you know, I know that, for instance, the cath lab in Sligo was one of the big issues. There's only a temporary cath lab there. In order to keep a cardiologist in the region, which the present man that's there at the moment and has done great work for many years, is retiring shortly, to find somebody else for that job, they need a permanent cath lab. And this has been going on for almost 20 years looking for funding for that. And that's just an example of the problems that we've got and how people feel in areas where there is, I suppose, low levels of population, that they get low levels of investment to a much lower level than what they need. The issues of environment and you know, we have COP 26 going on this week, and it's quite ironic that the same week that it's going on, the Minister for the Environment is signing licences for exploration of all things in County Leitrim for gold. You know, and we would like to get gold in Leitrim, certainly, but I think a mining industry is, for a luxury product like that, is not the kind of jobs we want or need to see coming, because it is a high carbon industry. And we were supposed to be told that high carbon industries we were moving away from. We would love to see jobs in renewable and lots of jobs in other things, but not jobs in that. We also recognise that that whole concept of pushing people in this direction, that it's jobs at all cost and profit at all costs, has brought us into this mess of a global crisis in global warming in the first place. So I think government has to step back from that and understand that what we need to see is we need to see investment in real people and in real jobs, which people can live and flourish in their own communities. And certainly going down that direction is not going to do that. So, Minister, your budget is a budget from, and as I met a man, and you always meet the people out on the street when you're out and about in your constituency, they'll have something to say to you. You know, he said it's a budget for the big shots. And that's the way a lot of people see it. That there were tax cuts that were mainly going to benefit the people in the higher areas, and the top earners were going to get the most of the benefit from it, and the people at the bottom were going to get most of the taxes and most of the pressure put on them. And that needs to change, Minister. And I think your government has brought us down a particular direction that you need to do a U-turn on and you need to get back out of, because it is very, very dangerous, both for the economy and for the ecology of our country. Farmers also is another example, and there has been much talk in recent times about the farming community and what they need to do, and they need to, you know, cut the number of cattle and all of this sort of thing. For the vast majority of people that in my community, farming is the only industry they've got. It's all they have. And when government keeps telling them, you know, you will have to have less cows and you'll have to do less, without telling them what they are going to do, there is no incentive or no drive to show what alternatives are going to be in place. When I go to a farmer beside me who has maybe 10 or 15 suckler cows at the moment, and I say to him, look, government's idea is that you're going to have to reduce that down to by 15 or 20% or 30% maybe. Then he says, well, where am I going to make a living? Where is it going to come from? That isn't the message you're giving them. You're only giving them the one message, the negative one. And we need to come to a situation where you can provide a positive message, where you can show people that there is a future and that you're going to provide the resources and the investment to create that future for people. Because certainly for an awful lot, and I have young children myself, young family, they're going away getting educated. An awful lot of their peers, when they go and they get degrees and they do well in third level education, unfortunately there is very few jobs for graduates when you come back to places like Leitrim or Sligo or the Northwest. And that needs to change as well. So I think really the message of this budget is that this budget was a budget which was about maintaining that status quo, a status quo which has failed so many generations that live in places like Leitrim. And Minister, I would appeal to you that to recognise that, the way in which government has structured all of these things, from your health service right the way through to the education system, to how you invest in rural Ireland, that all of it has to be re-examined, and you have to turn away from the direction you're going in, because we need no more budgets for big shots. Gurmahigav.